See how full these bookshelves are? There's literally a layer in the bottom shelf. I don't think you can actually see it very well, but it's stacked with all the series. These were all series that Lucas gave me last Christmas. So I don't have a bottom shelf, so they're just stacked on the floor and they take up the whole space until here. And then over here it's my TBR shelf, so all of these are my unread books. Romance, fantasy, literary fiction, historical fiction is all here. And then on the top is my horror, thrillers, all the ones that we're going to be talking about today. Hello everyone. If you cannot tell already by my amazing Halloween sweater, my spider on my face, my nails also are very Halloweenish. They have like spider webs on them and stuff. If you cannot tell already, this is gonna be a Halloween recommendations video. I am probably the biggest fan of Halloween. Like, Halloween is my favorite season of the whole year. I'm currently reading probably the last summer book of the year, just because I don't want to leave it for next summer, because I cannot wait to see what happens to Charlie. So I need to read this even though it's already September 18th. So I'm reading this right now, but after this, it is gonna be Halloweenish book after Halloweenish book. I love thrillers, and I'm actually had the worst experience with thrillers the past two books. The Whispers and The Husband's Secret. They were so not a thriller. I went to them expecting this incredibly page-turner, chilling thriller, and I got family drama, and I got family drama times 5, because there are like so many families in this book. But this was so bad. I gave it a 1 star. I so rarely give 1 star that I was shocked at myself. This one has crazy reviews. It has 3.90 something average on Goodreads. That is crazy to me. I gave it a 2 star because it was better than this, but it was still like, what the fuck did I just read? Why did I just waste my time reading this? So these were 2 failed thrillers for me. So I am still craving a good thriller. Now, straight into our Halloween recommendations. We're starting strong with a book that doesn't have many good ratings on Goodreads. This book is probably the lowest rated on my TBR, but it sounds so interesting. It sounds so interesting. In case the book doesn't give it away already by the cover or the title, The Little Coffee Shop of Terrors is about a coffee shop, you guessed it. A girl starts working in a coffee shop owned by Ben. Yeah, Adele and Ben are the main characters. She starts working in a coffee shop owned by Ben, and Ben doesn't have any plans of moving away so that she can come and take his place. So they have this like kind of enemies to lovers situation. And weird things start happening in the basement of the coffee shop, where the coffee machine that it's in the basement starts making weird noises, it goes up in flames and all this, so very weird things start happening. And all of a sudden, all their regular clients stop showing up. They are nowhere to be seen. And then it says on the bottom, it's the cutest thing, trouble is brewing for Adele, and before she knows it, she's in a whole lot of trouble, like, lotta. And it even says on the top, a latte love, a grand nightmare. I don't know, it screams Halloween to me. It screams Halloween. I don't know, it might be the cover, might not. It just screams Halloween and I love it. Also, another book that I did not get to last Halloween was The X-Hex. This is a mouthful. This was on my Halloween TBR last year, but I have so many books. I had so many books that I ended up not getting to 4 or 5 of them. So this unfortunately was one of them, but I cannot wait to read it this Halloween. It's about a couple or ex-couple where the girl, when they broke up, she had some hard feelings towards him, so she put a curse on him, but she didn't think that it would be an actual curse, you know, she just like cursed at him. And after like years, the dude comes back to the town where they used to live, and she's still there. And when he comes, something reignites and the curse starts affecting the whole town. It's a cozy fantasy, it's really not that serious. The curse starts affecting the whole town, and there's like murderous toys and ghosts and this and that. And the girl realizes that the curse that she cast on him a few years ago might not have been so harmless after all. So they have to put those differences aside and come together to try to, you know, break the curse. It sounds cozy, it sounds Halloweenish, and there's 3 books of this series, so if I read this, I know that there's 2 more to start, which I love. The Night Before Christmas. I feel like this is the perfect book to read in November when Halloween's already over, but in my mind it's not going to be over until December. So I feel like this is the perfect book to read between November and December. It's about the Prince of Christmas and the Prince of Halloween. Like, it's a sapphic romance about these 2 princes, and they're both fighting for the same princess's hand until they actually find out that they're attracted to each other and not really to the princess. They need to maneuver the whole public eye situation and try to like hide their relationship and also discover if there's possibility to have a relationship. And it says, when a rival arrives to challenge call for the princess's hand, and he's suddenly face to face with a past mistake, Hex, the deliciously handsome prince of Halloween. Scoopering Santa's plans and falling for Christmas's big rival would be a complete disaster, wouldn't it? Tell me that doesn't sound amazing. Tell me that doesn't sound amazing. And the cover is gorgeous. Even the spine and the back of the book, like, tell me this didn't call your attention. Impossible, right? Impossible. Those were all the books that were Halloween themed that I didn't really get to them last year and that I cannot wait to get to this year. And now we go to all the Halloween books that I actually read and that I adored or loved. Starting with probably the most known of them all, or the most popular last year. It was The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. It's a witches book. I love the found family in it. I'm a big fan of found family, and I love that aspect in it. And basically there's this girl, Mika Moon, has a very powerful magic, but she cannot show it around because the mortal people cannot know that witches exist, right? She mostly lives alone. She loves being alone, and that's how witches live. Like, they live alone, and their family also, you know, after a certain age, all the witches are orphans, which I found that very interesting because it's something that I've never read before. So this Mika Moon, she lives alone and she's very happy alone until she gets invited to teach 3 young witches in a house hidden away. She goes to teach these 3 witches and she sees that they are extremely powerful, but they need to get their emotions under control. They need to try to keep hidden from the Ministry of Magic because what she's doing, to who she's doing it, is also not very legal. And all of this happening while there's this handsome, hot dude that takes care of the kids as well that she starts having problems with, and then it starts going into a romance as well. There's so much cozy fantasy in here. If you haven't read it, this should be your sign to do so. Also, a book that is more on the cozy fantasy type of vibe is My Roommate's a Vampire. Also, last year I didn't stop hearing about this, so I was like, okay, I need to give it a go. It's just so good. It's a romance between a vampire, which is this dude, and a mortal. And they roommate, like the dude is looking for a roommate for his apartment, and she finds it very cheap and very suspicious, but she goes to check it anyway. So they live together, and then she starts noticing some things, like the way he speaks, the way he dresses, the way he's always awake in the night. She starts noticing these things. She's like, okay, something is off here. So yeah, it was a very, very nice one. And this one also is a trilogy. My Vampire Plus One, which is about the best friend of this vampire. And the best friend also gets a lot of story in this book. So I cannot wait to read, because I was also thinking like, damn, I wish the best friend would show a little more. It's on the second book, My Vampire Plus One. And this year they're also publishing a vampire road trip, or Road Trip with a Vampire, which is a third book, which is about a witch and a dude that lost his memory. But I can't wait to read them. I cannot wait to read them. This is actually very famous. Neil Gaiman is very famous, but maybe you haven't read it. The Graveyard book. I loved it more than I expected to. It's written in a beautiful, like, antique writing style. I loved it. It's not like the modern contemporary writing, which I'm not the biggest fan of. So this is like perfect for me. And it's about a kid that grows up in a graveyard cemetery. So Bod is our main character, and Jack keeps trying to find Bod, but he's looking for him in the real, like outside of the cemetery. He's looking for him in the real world. And Bod is stuck in the graveyard. He's being raised by the ghost of the graveyard and everything. And he's being educated by all these like different historical icon people. I think Bod goes outside and Jack catches a little smell of him and he discovers that Bod is in the cemetery, so he tries to come get Bod at all costs, and there's all this drama and what happens and how Bod can hide from Jack. There's also another character involved that he needs to try to protect, and I absolutely loved it. And it wasn't like a scary book, it was also a cozy fantasy but with more like real aspects to it, because there was like real historical icons on the story. There was all this, like, he goes through a tunnel and ends up in a whole different world, so it's a lot of fantasy, but it's really not that scary. It sounds a bit scary, but it's not that scary. It was so good. I loved it. The way that it's written, it was totally worth my time. Rachel Harrison has become so well known in the past year. First of all, look at this cover. It's absolutely stunning, and the design continues to the spine and to the back. It's absolutely gorgeous. This one was a bit scarier. This one like kept me at night, even though it looks like a cozy fantasy, you know, it gives the like cozy fantasy vibes. It kept me up at night. Okay, it is a bit scary. If I remember correctly, there is a main character that it's a very follow the rules type of girl. And he moves to this small town for a teaching job that she got straight from Manhattan. So she was a big city girl. And she moves to a small town where she's living in like a perfect house, super cute. And she becomes friends with this girl named Sophie, which is a woman from the neighborhood. And they become like besties. And she's very weirded out. Why do the people in the town seem to be so afraid of Sophie? Because she doesn't understand it, because she's in this like possessive relationship where she really wants to spend more time with Sophie and do everything with Sophie. Sophie's like this super free woman that wants Annie to start living more her life. Annie seems to be very drawn to Sophie's energy, but then she notices that everyone's afraid of Sophie, and she's like, okay, something here is not actually, you know, matching up. So all the secrets start unraveling, and she's like, is she a witch? What is she? And that's the whole thing. It goes, a deliciously dark feminist tale of witches, bad ex-boyfriends, good coffee, and friendly spiders. Yeah, some aspects of it did keep me up at night. Like, especially the spiders are like, okay. Last but not least, we have the Sabrina trilogy. You probably heard, or at least I learned that there was a Sabrina trilogy because of the series. There's a Netflix series that is absolutely amazing. I love to watch it in the Halloween because it's all about witches and wizards and hell and demons, and I love it. Inspired by the Netflix original series Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So there's 3 books out, and these ones are by Sarah Rees Brennan. It's kind of like a retelling of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, but with like many more details and a lot of situations that I didn't expect. I was like, damn, I loved it, and there's only 3 books now, but just quite cool. It did get a bit scary, but nothing like wow, you know, and there's some pages that are in black, and I was like, oh my god, reading this at night, I was like, okay, it's a black page, oh my god, it's really not that serious. Now we go to some horror books, or thriller/horror books that I had on my TBR last year. We have The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. This is weird. This is gory. I don't know, it's disturbing. It's weird. Basically, the main character is Kara. She moves in with her uncle, and she finds in the bunker of her uncle, she finds some weird words. And she eventually discovers that they open portals to all these different universes. And there's friends there that are not so nice, and she needs to escape them, and then the wall wouldn't close, or the portals wouldn't close, and she needs to find a way to close those. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a museum as well. I think her uncle's house is a museum. I was so intrigued. I loved it. It reminded me of what's the movie called? The Night Museum, something like that. Like, things come to life and there's this whole adventure. It reminded me a lot of that, but like scarier and weirder. I really don't know how can I explain this better. We read Maybe Fly by CJ Lead. Yeah, CJ Lead. This cover is gorgeous. I also couldn't describe this much to you. It's right neck and neck with this one. Which one is the weirdest? It was so weird, but so good at the same time. Like, not a 5-star, but it was so interesting to see like something that I would never have thought of written down on a book. So basically, Maeve is our female main character. She works during the daytime. She works as a princess in amusement park. More than that, I couldn't tell you, but it does say, but when Gideon Green, her best friend's brother, moves to town, he awakens something dangerous within her, and the whole world she knows suddenly shifts beneath her feet. Untethered, Maeve teaches her a disconnected act and tries on a new persona, a bolder, bloodier one. Inspired by the pages of American Psycho, Step Aside, Patrick Bateman, it's Maeve's turn with the knife. It was okay, it wasn't like scary, but it was a bit like weird. I really don't have any other word to describe these books besides weird. They were just weird. We have a not so weird book. This is a thriller-horror by C.J. Tudor and it's called The Drift. She's very famous. She's actually like really famous. And she has The Chalk Man. That's what made her famous. She has the book The Chalk Man, The Taking of Annie Thorne, The Other People, The Burning Girls, which is this one, and The Silver in Darkness. This one especially was super interesting. This was super interesting. There is a group of school people that are going in a bus somewhere. I can't remember the specifics. This was a year ago. Okay, give me a break. I can't remember the specifics, but there's a school bus and they're going somewhere and the bus completely crashes onto something and they start hearing these whistles. Just thinking of whistles gives me a chill down my body. This was creepy in the most like normal way. It was a horror, you know, not a fantasy type of thing. It's like a thing that would actually happen in real life, and that creeps me out. The back of the book says, an overturned coach full of students, all of them are trapped, a stranded cable car full of strangers, one of them is dead, an isolated chalet full of friends, soon they'll be enemies. Outside a snowstorm rages, inside each group a killer lurks. But that's not their only problem. Why is no rescue coming? What are they trying to escape from? And who are the terrifying whistlers? There's a lot of situations here that I pooped my pants. Like, I literally couldn't read this at night because it was keeping me up. But also, I'm a very, very weak horror person. I love it, but I'm also very weak to it. So it might be that to you, it's not gonna scare you at all. But to me, it did. Okay, it did the job completely. I believe I gave it a 5-star. Because I like this book so much, I really cannot wait to read The Burning Girls this winter. If I remember correctly, a family moves to a new town, and this new town seems to be obsessed with the new family that is coming in. They don't know why they look at them in a certain way, because they are suspicious of the new family that just came into their community. And the family, of course, doesn't have any idea why would they be so suspicious of them until they heard the story of the last vicar, that killed himself, and they're like, why would he do that? And then it says on the back, a new job, a new home, but in a close-knit community, old superstitions and a mistrust of outsiders mean treating carefully. Yet, right away, Jack has more frightening concerns. Why did no one say that the last vicar killed himself? Why is Flo plagued by visions of burning girls, and who is sending them threatening messages? All the ghosts with scores to settle can never rest, and Jack is standing in their way. Tell me that doesn't sound creepy. Tell me that doesn't sound creepy. It sounds like I'm not going to be able to sleep at night. That's what it sounds like, and I love it. We have 3 other books. We have Unaddressed in Blood, which is a ghost story. So there's this man called Cass. Cass lost his father for brutal murder back when he was a child. And he decides to take on the family business, which is killing the dead. Cass and his mom and a pet start going after like old legends, like cities with old legends, and they try to haunt those legends, kill those legends. And he comes into a city that has this girl, Unaddressed in Blood. That's the legend of the city, and he does the same. He thinks he's gonna have to do the same, which is haunt her, kill her, be done. But what he finds indeed is a girl that is actually trapped with all these different curses from back when she was murdered in 1958, and she still wears the dress she wore on the day of her brutal murder. Once white, but now stained with red and dripping with blood. Since her death, Anna has killed any and every person who has dared to step in the deserted Victorian she used to call home. Yet, she spares Cass's life. And that is just the beginning. I'm very intrigued by this story, but it does scare me. I don't know why, but this is one of those books that I've been putting off because it does scare me. Just the fact that it's a waxy figure on the cover should say everything. Like, her face is like very waxy, and it's about ghosts. Ghosts for me are like the best. Paranormal ghost things are my cup of tea. I will poop my pants at that. Stuart Turton. I'm not very excited for this one because I read The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hugo, and it was like, okay, it was way too big for what it had to offer, so it was dragging quite a lot. So I'm not very excited for this, which is also a brick of a book, that is probably going to be the same, just... Of course, my camera battery died. So yeah, now we have The Devil in the Dark Water. I bought them both at the same time. Maybe his writing improved. You see, it seems like it's something that could have been written in 300 pages and is instead 560 pages, almost 600 pages. Basically, it takes place on the boat. There's a cop that is being transported from one place to another, and there's a murder occurring upstairs. There's all these like weird devil things, situations happening. The cop that is imprisoned in the bottom of the ship needs to find out what is happening and why, and he needs the help of his bodyguard to unlock him so that he can go and try to figure out what's happening before the boat arrives, because when the boat arrives, he will be tried for a murder. He is currently being accused of a murder that he may or may not have committed, we don't know, but he needs to solve all of this devilish demon situations before the boat arrives to the destination. Something that could have been written in 300 but is 600 pages. For the last two books, The Lighthouse Witches. This is a deserted lighthouse. Upon the cliffs of a remote Scottish island, Love, stands a lighthouse. Strange and terrible events have happened here. It started with a witch hunt. Now, centuries later, islanders are vanishing. A lost family, Liv Stay and her children don't believe in witches or curses, but within months of arriving on the island, her daughter Luna is the only one of them left. An impossible child. 20 years later, Luna's missing sister turns up out of the blue. She's exactly the girl Luna remembers. Same face, same smile, same age. Faced with the impossible, it's up to Luna to find out what really happened at the lighthouse all those years ago. It sounds creepy. It sounds like there's some vampire thing going on, but it's probably a witch thing going on because it's the Lighthouse Witches. When I bought this book, I bought not so many, but like 3 or 4 that were about this thing of the same age situation. I also have One Puzzling Afternoon, which is one of those books that I fear are going to be so good that I'm trying to save it for the perfect occasion that is never going to happen. So I've just been saving it, and I cannot wait to read it this fall or winter, maybe even winter as well. But it's also about not a couple, but a man and a woman that reunite after years, and the girl is still the same age as the man remembers. He's like, what the hell is happening? So I can't wait to read this, but it's not necessarily a fall book, so I'm saving it for winter. But this one's about witches and curses, and that just screams Halloween to me for some reason. So I can't wait to read this one as well. And then just a more like horror thriller book that is not necessarily Halloweenish, but very fall for sure. It's The Mother Thing. So there's this couple that they're having the perfect life. They finally found a good place in their relationship. They're thriving per se, and they have to move in with the husband's mother, and she discovers that the mother-in-law does not like her indeed, and that she is a bit cruel. She's a bit mean. She's a bit devilish, some would say. Unexpected death of this woman brings totally different things for this couple. The man enters a depression because it was his mother who just died. The man enters a depression, and the woman is cursed. She is being haunted by her mother-in-law, and she's putting everything away from the main character. So she's losing all the friends, she's losing her job, she's losing everything in her life because she's being haunted by the mother-in-law, and she needs to find a way to get rid of her so that she and the husband can continue to thrive like they were. I do expect this to be a funny horror. I don't know how to explain it, but you know how there's funny thrillers? I expect it to be a funny horror, because not giving creepy, scary, it's giving like you're gonna be making fun of that ghost. That's what's giving. So I'm expecting this to be more funny than it is scary. But the cover just convinced me. Like, it's so good. Lucas gave this to me, and as soon as I saw the cover, I was like, and this is one of the books. This and One Puzzling Afternoon is one of those books that I expect them to be so good that I want to read them just at the right time. Sometimes I'm in the mood for it, but I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so good. I don't know if I want to waste it already. Just read it already, right? So I'm very excited to get to this, and I'm for sure, all of these books are for sure gonna get written. They're for sure gonna get read this fall, because I am so excited to read them. And I've read actually these 3. For me, Halloween is all the way from now, September, to November like 20th. Only after November 20th will I be a fan of Christmas. Yeah, so I still have 2 months. These are for sure gonna go there. And I have some Halloween books also on my mental list, and I actually have a Goodreads list with Halloween recommendations, which are books that I don't have physically but that are on my radar if I find them somewhere. There's a few new releases. So there's Mate by Ali Hazelwood. You probably know she published Bride, I believe last year if I'm not mistaken, and Bride was like a huge success. It's a werewolf and vampires book, and I was sad. I just needed to read that book and I haven't. There's My Vampire Plus One and Road Trip with a Vampire by Jenna Levine. And then we have Tourist Season. Tourist Season is coming this month as well, by Brian Weaver. If I'm not mistaken, she is the author of the Butcher and Blackbird. There is Tourist Season, which says, "Welcome to Cape Carnage. Visit once, stay forever." Cape Carnage is a seaside town of colorful houses, quirky shops, and an unusual high body count. But with tourists comes trouble, and Harper Starling won't let anyone ruin her picture-perfect home. A skilled gardener with killer instincts, Harper protects her sanctuary at any cost, especially for her aging mentor with a fading memory. Troublesome tourists don't check out of Carnage. They compost beneath Harper's award-winning flower beds, but Nolan Rhodes isn't your average tourist. Devilishly handsome, disarmingly charming, and skilled with a blade, Nolan is relentless on the pursuit of revenge. On every anniversary of the hit-and-run accident that fractured his life, no one slays another target. He saved the best for last, the undeniable, beautiful Harper Sling. I cannot wait. It sounds so romantic, so cozy, so Halloweenish. Like, what you mean? It's a town called Cape Carnage. Like, it needs to be a Halloween book. So there's that. And then I have also Love at First Sighting. Sounds really interesting. It's very not well known. It's only 1,700 ratings. I'm gonna have to read a synopsis of it on Goodreads, and it says, Los Angeles social media influencer Elle Martin seems to live the perfect aesthetic life, but what Elle wants more than anything is to find something real to make her heart race in a way it hasn't in years. She doesn't expect that feeling to come from capturing footage of an unidentified flying thing, much less from the charming man in black who keeps following her around. Agent Carter Brody is trying his best to keep the private intelligence sector afloat by dragging their hopelessly out-of-date office into this century, even though what he really wants to do is following his father's footsteps, identifying and hiding extraterrestrial sightings. He gets his chance after being assigned to Elle's case, and he's stopped in his tracks not only by her ingenuity and confidence, but also by the unnerving coincidence of how her sighting looks eerily like the one he saw right before a family tragedy. The deeper Elle and Carter fall into the mystery, the harder it is for them to ignore their growing chemistry as their own alien feelings become dangerously terrestrial. It just sounds so good, and I've never read an alien book. Like, aliens have just not been on my radar. So I've never actually read anything about aliens, so I'm really excited. Like, if I see this anywhere, I'll definitely pick it up because it sounds so good, and it sounds very Halloweenish as well. If the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches sounded interesting to you, she is dropping a new book called A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, which is giving the same vibes, and the cover is so stunning, and it's also sounding like a cozy fantasy. It just started pouring. This is like perfect Halloween weather. It's just pouring. Can you hear that? Oof. Okay, then I have a few more. But of course you can see all of this on my Goodreads list. But I have Love and Other Conspiracies, which is about werewolves. I have Better Left Buried, which is about devilish things and ghosts and leave them buried. I have Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. I really want to read this. I really, really do. I'm probably going to order this book online because this book has just been on my radar for so long. Do I have anything else? Oh, The September House. The September House is another book that has been on my radar for so long. First of all, cover, also gorgeous. And it's basically about a house that starts bleeding, like it drips blood on the walls. Every September the house starts doing this. and the husband is telling the wife that something must be wrong with the house. This is not usual. This doesn't happen in anyone else's house. But the wife doesn't believe it until the man dies. And they start thinking that maybe there was some truth to what he was saying. And they try to figure out what's happening. And there's also, of course, curses involved and ghosts and all these like Halloweenish things. So yeah, I'm also very excited for that. I think that's it. There was quite a lot of books. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, plus the ones on my Goodreads list. So that's quite a lot of books. That is a lot of books. I hope you found something for your taste. I tried to give a bit of everything, a bit of horror, scary horror, a bit of funny horror, a bit of fantasy, cozy fantasy, horror fantasy, thrillers. So I hope you got something, okay? I hope you got something. And that is the end of this video. I cannot wait to read every single book I have mentioned here. And if you do have any recommendations of a Halloweenish witch, vampire, werewolf, anything, give it to me, okay? Give it to me. I cannot wait for this spooky season. I love spooky season. Who doesn't, right? Like, who doesn't? I'll be back next week for another one.